What if I told you that something as simple as eating the right fruits before bed could help support your memory, calm your mind, and keep your brain active as you age? Yes, especially after 60, your evening habits can quietly shape how sharp and energetic your mind feels the next day. Tonight, I'm going to share three powerful fruits you can enjoy before bed, easy, natural, and gentle on your body, that may help support brain health and memory as you age. Stay with me until the end, because the last tip is something most people completely overlook, and it makes a big difference. Remember this. Aging is not about slowing down your mind, it's about taking better care of it. Every healthy choice you make today is an investment in your memory, your independence, and your quality of life tomorrow. It's never too late to start. Even small steps can lead to powerful changes over time. Stay consistent, stay hopeful, and keep choosing your health every day. Let's talk about blueberries and why something so small can make such a meaningful difference for your brain as you age. When we think about keeping the mind sharp after 60, most people imagine complicated routines, expensive supplements, or strict diets. But sometimes the most powerful support comes from nature itself, in the simplest form. Blueberries are a perfect example of that. These little berries are packed with natural compounds called flavonoids. Think of them as protective nutrients that help defend your body's cells from everyday stress. As we get older, our brain naturally goes through wear and tear, just like any other organ. It faces what we call oxidative stress, which is basically the accumulation of damage over time. Now, you don't feel this happening day by day, but over the years, it can affect memory, focus, and mental clarity. This is where blueberries quietly step in. When you eat them regularly, especially in small daily amounts, they provide antioxidants that help support the brain's natural defense system. Imagine your brain cells as tiny workers constantly trying to keep everything running smoothly. Over time, they get tired. Antioxidants act like support staff that help these workers stay efficient for longer. Now, I want you to understand something important here. This is not about reversing aging or making unrealistic promises. It's about supporting your brain so it can function at its best for as long as possible. And that's something absolutely within your control. One of the most interesting things about blueberries is their connection to memory centers in the brain. Research suggests that the compounds in these berries may help support communication between brain cells. And when communication is strong, your thinking feels clearer, your recall feels smoother, and your mental energy feels more stable throughout the day. Now let's bring this into real life. Think about your evening routine. For many seniors, evenings can be a quiet time, sometimes peaceful, sometimes a little lonely, sometimes spent watching television or scrolling on a phone. What if, instead of reaching for processed snacks or sugary treats at night, you replace that habit with something simple like a small bowl of blueberries? It doesn't need to be complicated. Just a handful is enough. You can eat them fresh, or if fresh berries are not available, frozen ones work just as well. You can even mix them into plain yogurt, which adds another layer of gut-friendly nutrition. And this matters more than most people realize because your gut and brain are deeply connected. When your gut feels good, your brain often follows. Now here's something else worth understanding. Blueberries are not a quick fix. They work best as part of a consistent lifestyle. Just like walking every day keeps your joints flexible, small daily habits like this help support long-term brain wellness. It's not about doing something once and expecting change. It's about gently building habits that support you over time. And when you consume them in the evening, there's another subtle benefit. Instead of heavy processed foods that can make your body feel sluggish, blueberries are light, easy to digest, and calming for your system. This means your body doesn't have to work hard before bedtime. And when your body is calm, your brain has a better chance to settle into rest and recovery mode. Because here is something many people overlook. Your brain does not only work during the day, it repairs itself at night. While you are sleeping, it organizes memories, clears unnecessary waste, and restores balance. So when you give it clean, nutrient-rich fuel in the evening, you are essentially supporting that natural overnight repair process. Let's make this even more practical. If you want to include blueberries in your nightly routine, start simple. Keep a small box in your fridge. After dinner, once everything is settled, take a small bowl. Eat slowly. Don't rush it. Let it feel like a calm moment for yourself. No screens, no stress, just a quiet pause. You can even combine this with a short breathing habit. Take a few slow breaths while you eat. This signals your nervous system to relax. And when your nervous system relaxes, digestion improves and your body responds better to the nutrients you are giving it. Over time, this small act becomes more than just eating fruit. It becomes a signal to your body that the day is ending peacefully and it is time to restore and repair. Many people think improving memory or brain health requires dramatic action, but in reality, it is built through small, repeated choices. And blueberries represent exactly that kind of choice: simple, accessible, and quietly powerful. So as you move through your evening routine, remember this: you are not just eating a fruit, you are giving your brain gentle support, helping it stay active, alert, and nourished for the years ahead. And that is why this small nightly habit can become one of the simplest ways to care for a sharper, more resilient mind over time. Now let's turn our attention to a fruit that often surprises people when it comes to brain health: pomegranate. At first glance, it may look like just another colorful fruit on the table, but inside those ruby red seeds is something truly remarkable for your body, especially for your brain as you age. If blueberries are like gentle protectors of brain cells, then pomegranate works more like a circulation booster, helping your brain receive the nourishment it needs to stay active, alert, and engaged. One of the biggest challenges that naturally comes with aging is the gradual slowing of blood flow. You don't feel it happening directly, but over time, the circulation that delivers oxygen and nutrients throughout the body, including the brain, can become less efficient. And when the brain receives slightly less oxygen or nourishment, you may notice small changes: forgetting names, losing track of words, or feeling mentally slower than before. This is where pomegranate becomes so interesting. It is rich in natural plant compounds called polyphenols. These compounds help support healthy blood vessel function. Think of your blood vessels as a vast highway system. When the highways are open, smooth, and flexible, traffic flows easily. Oxygen and nutrients travel quickly and efficiently to every part of the brain. But when those highways become stiff or narrowed over time, everything moves a little slower. Pomegranate helps support that system by encouraging better circulation. And when circulation improves, the brain naturally benefits: more oxygen, more nourishment, and better overall support for mental performance. Now let's bring this into everyday life so it makes sense in a practical way. Imagine sitting in the evening after a long day. Your body feels tired, your mind has gone through many thoughts, conversations, responsibilities, maybe even stress. At this moment, your brain is not asking for something heavy or complicated, it is asking for gentle support. And a small serving of pomegranate can be exactly that kind of support. When you eat the seeds slowly, you are not just consuming fruit, you are giving your body time to relax while absorbing natural compounds that help your circulation system. The act of eating it slowly also matters. It encourages mindfulness, which naturally reduces stress. And lower stress also means better blood flow, because stress hormones can tighten blood vessels and make circulation less efficient. So, in a way, pomegranate works on two levels at once. First, it supports your physical circulation. And second, the way you eat it can support your mental relaxation. Now, I want you to think about something important. Many people focus only on what to avoid in their diet: less sugar, less fried food, less processed snacks. But just as important is what you add in. Pomegranate is a perfect example of an addition that supports long-term brain wellness without requiring any drastic change. You don't need large amounts. You don't need complicated preparation. A small bowl of fresh seeds in the evening or a small glass of fresh juice is enough. The key is consistency, not quantity. And there is another fascinating benefit worth understanding. Your brain is extremely sensitive to oxygen levels. Even small improvements in blood flow can influence how clearly you think and how quickly you respond mentally. That is why people sometimes describe feeling mentally refreshed after eating foods that support circulation. It's not imagination, it is your brain responding to improved nourishment. Now, let's connect this to aging in a realistic and reassuring way. Getting older does not mean losing your mental sharpness. It means your body becomes more dependent on how well you take care of it. The systems are still there, still working, still capable. They just need more intentional support. And food becomes one of the most powerful tools you have. Pomegranate is especially helpful because it doesn't just target one aspect of health. It supports the cardiovascular system, and through that, it indirectly supports the brain. This connection between heart health and brain health is extremely important. When your heart and blood vessels are strong, your brain naturally benefits. Now imagine making this a simple evening ritual. After dinner, instead of immediately sitting in front of a screen or going straight to bed, you take a small bowl of pomegranate seeds. You sit in a calm place. Maybe you reflect on your day. Maybe you simply enjoy the quiet. You eat slowly without rushing. Each bite becomes a moment of nourishment, not just for your body, but for your mind. This is where the real transformation happens, not in dramatic changes, but in gentle routines repeated over time. And over weeks and months, these small choices add up. Better circulation supports better oxygen flow. Better oxygen flow supports better mental clarity. And better mental clarity supports confidence in daily life, remembering things more easily, staying focused in conversations, and feeling more mentally present. It is also worth mentioning that pomegranate has a naturally refreshing quality. It does not feel heavy or overly sweet when eaten in moderation. This makes it especially suitable for the evening, when your body is preparing for rest. Unlike processed snacks that can sometimes disrupt sleep or digestion, pomegranate works in harmony with your body's natural rhythm. So, as you consider what to include in your nighttime routine, think of pomegranate not as a luxury fruit, but as a simple tool for supporting your inner circulation system. A small habit, yes, but one that quietly supports something as important as your brain health. Because at the end of the day, your memory, your focus, and your mental clarity are deeply connected to how well your body delivers oxygen and nourishment where it is needed most. And pomegranate helps you support exactly that process, one gentle serving at a time. That is the quiet power of this fruit and why it deserves a place in your evening routine for a healthier, more active mind in the years ahead. Now let's talk about kiwi, a fruit that often doesn't get the attention it deserves, especially when we think about brain health and aging. At first, kiwi may seem like a simple, tangy, refreshing fruit that you enjoy occasionally. But when we look closer, especially in the context of nighttime nutrition and brain support, it becomes much more interesting. In fact, kiwi plays a unique role that is different from many other fruits. It is closely connected to how well you sleep. And sleep, as you may already know, is one of the most important pillars of memory and cognitive health. Let's understand this in a simple way. Your brain is constantly working throughout the day. It processes information, stores memories, manages emotions, and helps you make decisions. But the real maintenance work, the deep repair work, happens at night while you sleep. During this time, your brain clears out waste, organizes memories, and restores balance. If sleep is not deep or consistent, this entire process becomes less efficient. Over time, that can affect memory, focus, and mental clarity. This is where kiwi becomes very interesting. Kiwi contains a natural combination of nutrients, including antioxidants, vitamins, and compounds that support relaxation in the body. What makes it especially valuable is its connection to sleep quality. Many people who include kiwi in their evening routine report falling asleep more easily and experiencing more restful sleep. And when sleep improves, memory naturally improves too, because the brain finally gets the time it needs to properly process and store information. Now, I want you to think about something very practical. Have you ever noticed that when you sleep poorly, everything feels harder the next day? You might forget small things, feel mentally slow, or struggle to concentrate. And on the other hand, when you sleep well, your mind feels clearer, sharper, and more responsive. That difference is not random. It is your brain responding to the quality of rest it received. Kiwi helps support that rest in a gentle, natural way. One of the reasons kiwi is so helpful in the evening is because it is light on the stomach. Unlike heavy meals or processed snacks that can make digestion work overtime, kiwi is easy to digest. This matters more than many people realize. When your digestive system is calm, your body can shift more easily into a restful state, and when your body is calm, your brain follows. There is also another important factor. Kiwi contains natural compounds that support the production of serotonin, a brain chemical that plays a role in mood regulation and sleep cycles. Serotonin is often described as a feel-good chemical, but it also plays a key role in preparing your body for sleep. When your serotonin levels are balanced, your body finds it easier to transition from an active daytime state into a calm nighttime state. Now let's bring this into a simple evening habit. Imagine finishing your dinner, you've had your meal, you're sitting quietly, and your body is slowly winding down. Instead of reaching for something heavy, sugary, or stimulating, you choose one or two kiwis. You slice them or simply eat them with a spoon. The taste is fresh, slightly tangy, and naturally soothing. There is no rush, no pressure, just a calm moment for yourself. This simple act sends a signal to your body that the day is ending. And that signal is powerful because your body and brain respond strongly to routine. When you repeat the same calming habit every night, your system begins to recognize it as a cue for rest. Over time, just eating kiwi in the evening can help prepare your mind for sleep even before you lie down. And here is where the real benefit for memory begins. During deep sleep, your brain organizes everything you experience during the day. It strengthens important memories and clears out unnecessary mental clutter. This process is essential for learning, remembering names, recalling conversations, and staying mentally sharp. Without good sleep, this system becomes less efficient. But with good sleep, supported by gentle habits like eating kiwi, the brain performs this task more effectively. So, in a way, kiwi is not just helping you sleep better, it is helping your brain do its most important maintenance work more efficiently. Now, let's connect this to aging in a very realistic way. As we grow older, sleep patterns often change. Some people find it harder to fall asleep, others wake up during the night or don't feel as rested in the morning. This is a natural part of aging, but it is also something we can gently support through lifestyle choices. Instead of relying on complicated solutions, sometimes small nutritional habits make a meaningful difference. Kiwi is one of those gentle supports. It doesn't force the body, it doesn't create dependency, it simply encourages balance, and that is what makes it so valuable. Another important point is timing. Eating kiwi about an hour before bedtime seems to be the most effective for many people. This gives your body enough time to digest it and begin responding to its natural compounds. It also becomes part of a calming evening rhythm, which is just as important as the fruit itself. Now, I want you to imagine something over time. You begin this simple habit, one kiwi, maybe two, in the evening. At first, it feels like just a small change. But after a few days, your evenings feel slightly calmer. After a few weeks, your sleep feels a little more stable. And over months, you start noticing that your mornings feel clearer. You wake up with a bit more mental freshness, a bit more focus, a bit more ease in remembering things. This is how real change happens, not suddenly, but gradually through consistency. And that is the key message here. Kiwi is not a miracle fruit. It is a supportive fruit. It works with your body, not against it. It fits into your natural rhythm and helps strengthen one of the most important foundations of brain health, sleep. So when you think about caring for your memory, your focus, and your long-term mental sharpness, don't overlook the importance of your night routine, because every night of good sleep is like giving your brain a chance to reset, restore, and prepare for the next day. And something as simple as kiwi can become a gentle part of that process, quietly supporting your brain while you rest. Now let's bring everything together and talk about something that many people overlook completely, yet it may be just as important as the fruits themselves. Because at the end of the day, it is not only what you eat that matters, but how you live in those quiet evening hours that shapes your brain health over time. You can have the best nutrition in the world, but if your mind is constantly stressed, rushed, or overstimulated right before bed, your brain does not get the chance to fully settle into its natural repair mode. And this repair mode is exactly where memory is strengthened, where learning is organized, and where mental clarity is restored for the next day. So let's talk about this final and very important habit, the evening brain reset routine. Think about your typical evening. For many people over 60, evenings can go in different directions. Some may spend time watching television, others may scroll on their phone, and some may simply sit and think about the day. But what often goes unnoticed is how the brain responds during this time. If the content is loud, emotional, stressful, or constantly changing, the brain stays in a kind of alert state. Even if your body is sitting still, your mind remains active, processing stimulation instead of slowing down. Now compare that to a calm evening environment. Soft lighting, gentle conversation, quiet surroundings, and a simple nourishing snack like blueberries, pomegranate, or kiwi. In this environment, your brain begins to receive a completely different signal. It starts to shift from alert mode into repair mode. And this shift is extremely important for memory, because memory is not only created when you learn something new, memory is actually strengthened later, during rest. Your brain takes the experiences of the day and decides what to keep, what to organize, and what to gently let go of. If your mind is calm, this process happens smoothly. But if your mind is overloaded or stressed, this process becomes less efficient. So the real question is not just what you eat before bed, but how you allow your body and mind to transition into rest. Let's break this down into something very practical. After your evening meal and your small fruit choices, instead of immediately jumping into stimulation, give yourself a short period of quiet time. This does not need to be complicated. You don't need special equipment or a strict routine. It can be as simple as sitting comfortably in a quiet place and allowing your breathing to slow down naturally. Just a few minutes of slow, deep breathing can begin to activate your body's relaxation response. Your heart rate gently slows, your muscles soften, and your nervous system begins to shift into a more restful state. And when this happens, your brain receives the message that it is safe to slow down. This is where something very powerful begins to happen internally. Your brain starts reducing unnecessary mental noise. Thoughts become less scattered. Emotional tension begins to ease. And gradually, your system prepares for sleep in a much more natural way. Now, let's connect this back to brain health in a very real sense. When your evenings are calm, your sleep improves. When your sleep improves, your brain gets more efficient at processing and storing memories. And when your memory systems are supported night after night, you begin to notice changes in daily life. You remember names more easily. You find it simpler to recall where you placed things. You feel more mentally organized and less overwhelmed. These are not sudden transformations. They are subtle improvements that build over time, but they are deeply meaningful because they affect your independence, your confidence, and your quality of life. Now, here is something even more important to understand. Many people think brain health is only about preventing decline, but in reality, it is also about maintaining vitality. It is about keeping your mind engaged, curious, and responsive. And that requires more than just nutrition. It requires rhythm, a daily rhythm that supports both activity and rest. Your evening routine is where that rhythm becomes especially important. If your day is like the input phase, where you learn, move, interact, and experience, then your night is the processing phase. Without proper processing, input becomes clutter. But with proper rest and calm, that same input becomes organized knowledge and stable memory. That is why this final habit is so powerful. It is not just a lifestyle suggestion. It is a way of helping your brain complete its natural cycle every single day. Now imagine applying this consistently. You finish your day, you enjoy your simple fruits, blueberries for protection, pomegranate for circulation, kiwi for sleep support. Then instead of rushing, you slow down, you sit quietly, you allow your breathing to settle, you reduce stimulation, you let your body understand that the active part of the day is complete. At first, this may feel small, almost too simple to matter, but over time, your brain begins to recognize this pattern. And just like any system that receives consistent signals, it adapts. Your evenings start to feel calmer. Your sleep becomes more predictable. Your mornings feel less heavy and more refreshed. And your mind begins to feel more stable and clear during the day. This is the quiet power of routine. It does not demand effort in the moment, but it delivers results over time. And perhaps the most important thing to remember is this: your brain is always listening. It responds not just to food, but to environment, rhythm, and emotional state. When you give it calm, it responds with clarity. When you give it chaos, it responds with fatigue. So by simply adjusting your evening habits, you are not just improving one part of your day, you are supporting the entire cycle of how your brain rests, repairs, and prepares for tomorrow. And that is how small evening choices can lead to a stronger, sharper, and more peaceful mind in the long run. If you found this helpful, make sure to support your health journey with us. Subscribe to BioBites 360. Like this video if you care about healthy aging, share it with a friend or family member who needs better brain health tips. And don't forget, your health is your greatest wealth. See you in the next video. Stay healthy, stay strong, and take care of your beautiful mind.